Good evening, all. Officially, another webinar with football courses. Today, we've got another guest, this time from Serbia and Croatia, put it from Balkans. Last week, we had a guest as well from Serbia, from the same part of the world, which is good. We've got 2 weeks of Balkans as a topic. In the next weeks, we're gonna progress to another country, which we're gonna have two guests from Italy, but focus on today, football in Serbia and region. Milo, welcome on board. It's great to having you on our webinar series. Milo is a licensed coach from Serbia, fresh A license, which is good. He's living in UK. He worked still working for Brentford FC, which gonna be now academy, as we all know in the UK. So Mike is yours. I'm gonna go quiet. Guys, if you have any questions, as usual, you can put the questions into the chat, or raise your hand when there will be a bit of a break. And at the end, as usual, gonna be Q&A, so you can have discussion with Milo. And yeah, that's all from me. Again, pleasure to have you on board. Mike is yours.
All right, thank you, Emil, for calling me first of all, and I'll be happy to share like how do we do how's how our system and how our football education work in Serbia and probably like most likely like in the region because obviously everything over there is kind of a little bit copy paste. It's pretty much like there's a almost no differences between like culturally. So and yeah, so basically football in Serbia. So to start with it, Emil, can I ask you a questions as well?
Yeah, you can ask questions.
When I was like to start, like if someone mentioned like Serbia or a region, like what first pop-ups like on their mind? Like what pops up on your mind? Like what type of like in the terms of football, in terms of sport, what do you first think about?
Right, so I'm gonna put yeah. Oh, you can put in the chat as well. We've
Yeah,
got Red Start Belgrade. We've got the first comment from the chat. From
yeah,
myself, I would say being competitive in every single team sport. Doesn't matter if it's basketball, handball, football,
yeah.
or polo or whatever that is. Water polo, sorry. Then that's my first thing. Being like strong characters. Um, Tennis, you've got another comment, Djokovic, in from myself, Modric. So yeah, but
Yeah,
first thing in my head is just these characters, strong characters.
strong characters, exactly. Yeah, and this is what I would like to talk, like to put more focus on, despite like the system and the education and development in Serbia. So that's a good point, actually, because like football and basketball are most popular sports in Serbia, and most likely like sports that are played like a team sports, especially if they have like some huge competition rating. You know, it's really popular. Um, almost like every town or village has at least one football club. Um, it's great for socializing as well. So culturally, it's like really like into people over there. Um, someone said the Red Star and Partizan. Yeah, those are like our like biggest clubs over there. They have a big history, huge tradition, and in the past, uh, yeah, we were producing and still produce a lot of like cool players, like really cool like players, and most of all, I would say like the characters and the people. Um, so yeah, and I guess everybody heard about like the Eternal Derby as well, which is also popular. Um, and basically this is like something like shortly about like Serbia and how like football is working on. Um, So like a little bit about the history, like what happened, what are like the biggest success like in the newer like history of football is that Serbia won in 2015 a World Cup on under 20s under leadership of Veljko Paunovic. And it was like a really big moment, and you can actually see that Veljko brings something new into this team, some new structure, some new system. I think they were more selected like the players over there, like how can I say, um, they want to like to make a team, like so they're more focused, I would say, on a vibe. And since they were like under 20s, I guess this was like a good way like to maybe test something new, which worked out. And from this generation, you had like a really kind of great individuals. Some of them made a career after, some not. And also like the biggest moment as well is obviously like the winning the European Cup, which is Champions League in 1991. And that was in the time when actually the system was working when Resta had the most talented players from the region. They had the winners, skillful players, players with a vision. I guess everybody and most people remembers like Dejan Savicevic, Prosinecki, who played for Croatian national team, like the biggest talents of football, like from that area. And because of that, they could create. They had a system. They could create a team, and they won like the European Cup, and following with the international like cup against Colo Colo as well. Uh, so we said like that the football is a part of a culture, but why would the football be part of culture? Is because like if generally speaking, like after 1991 and like the 90s in general, I think bring the tough times for your region. And I think and I believe as someone who is like a grow up post-war is that you didn't have too many opportunities and it was a lot of hardships. And most of the players and most successful people in sports, obviously, despite the talent that they had, they didn't have. They're missing a lot of like in the terms of infrastructure, uh, role models, um, and just like the probably it was lack of comfort as well. So beside that, like the character was built in the way that the people always want to show something, and they're always hungry. And the thing is, like people over there, like in terms of sports, despite they have a system, there is a system, but the system is not followed as much. So people there often improvise, and basically a lot of things like in football, um, in the education, in creating players is based on improvising. So the new the new football culture, like in a Serbia. What do I mean by that? So I mean by that basically because now it's 2025, and let's say you had a lot of like negative effects in the last 100 years, because basically in you had 5 wars in 100 years. So generationally, you got this like I don't know, anxiety of and tension about something. So that's basically naturally over there. So, but since like so nothing obviously kind of changed, and because the situation generally like in the system in the country is kind of bad, I would say. Because to be honest, like if you wanna succeed in a football nowadays in a modern ways, you need to invest a lot. So maybe sometimes you need to pay for a doctor for a check. Then you need to pay for probably for some tournaments, probably for some private academies. Like this is kind of modern football that modern football are basically like now like shaping you. You know, this is like if you can just see like there's a lot of other like things, especially here in London, can that can improve your football. That can maybe help you out, put you somewhere on the spot on the map to be exposed. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist over there. So basically, players, how does it work in the youth? Like in let's say players like up to the 12 years, um, yeah, they're like learning football, a lot of technical games, pretty much similar like it's here. After 12th of the year, there is a selection process over there. So, and by the 15, players who are selected for like the top academies, like a Red Star or Partizan, they'll probably like made it. They'll probably like sign a professional contract. But after that, players like they're like on their own, and usually they don't end up nowhere because they can't support themselves enough from football. And this is where you get like this thing like that the players are like divided then like in a world I would say here in England or Germany or France players can enjoy in it and they can focus like how to improve their game like while in Serbia and in the region people need to find a way to survive. So basically the football education and the football improvement is looking for somewhere else like anywhere where they can like support themselves, you know. And usually like if players want to seek for an additional like level of football or if they want like to educate themselves like properly they need to go to the private football academies but those ones can be really expensive, so especially if you're from the rural area on the poor or the poor areas, um like basically then you need to improvise like this is when you're like looking for maybe some options like that are not like on the spot, like not close to you. You're trying to find like alternative ways, looking for the maybe like opportunities kind of abroad straight away. But it's very rare. Like literally, I would say that if you're like from the rural area, boom, like very low chances. You know, I, until you decide like to change something, but it's hard because like the lifestyle, general lifestyle, and football is hard to combine. So and also like the unfortunately because it's like this, you know, like so, and if the players want to move, um, they're basically sometimes kind of trapped because obviously like it's hard for them. Um, they're not also like in the football development. I think there is also very a huge lack of education the football players, which I think I'll get back on it later. Um, Also like the young coaches in Serbia at some certain point uh they're not so well paid, and they sometimes have to do like more than one job like in football, but then sometimes clubs the top clubs are requesting to be committed more, so then the coaches usually like rather like give up or they just find opportunities somewhere else like maybe like in China or like Emirates, but usually when they're there like they don't get proper knowledge and proper experience, you know, and that's the thing. So basically, like football is based like on survival, and that's basically how it is right now. This is how I will call it. You know, like so in 80%, 90% of cases. So we already said. So this is what I was like speaking about. Like development system, it doesn't exist. So if someone is like thinking about like, all right, if someone can name maybe a top Serbian players like Vidic, captain of Man United, Stankovic, Mitrovic now, Vlahovic, Jovic, Milinkovic Savic, or you name it, like also like any of those players. Like if someone thinks that in the last 20 years, like Serbia had like a couple of very interesting and quality strikers, like like in individuals, but I don't believe like I mean there was no system like that they were like said yes in 20 years we'll work this on our strikers and this is how we'll produce them. So no, that didn't exist like this, you know. So everything is like same thing with Vidic, same thing with the other players. Like they were not like there was no system of producing. Let's produce like players like defenders like Vidic like in next 10 years. No, that didn't exist. Everything was like improvised. Every football club and every football coach actually have their own like system how they work. They improvise it. FA, I believe that FA have a structure, but I don't think that it is followed that much. Like the pathway is not followed. So this is kind of thing that I think it's missing, like the key part, that connection, and also like coaches uh, are who are working like in this system, when there is no system, are usually very skillful in the other things than not just the coaching. So basically, they got a lot of other skills. They're very talented, and they usually the coaches who are like making those players are usually the coaches who are like giving the most time, like a free time or extra time for the players. You know, even if they know that they wouldn't be paid, but yeah. So about the coaches and about the the how do we coach and what coaches give to the players over there. So despite like in the other academies and the mentality, um, like extreme amount of coaches have like the ideas. They're creative. They're like very dedicated, passionate about the football. But despite its passion, um, people find a struggle because, like I was saying before, uh, there was a lot of errors. There was a lot of negative events, and that caused like the coaches and the people to just do their own basically way. Like this is how instead of like uh, 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 how can I say in instead of developing maybe some and something in football coaching, people are developing their like resilience. People are developing their hard work, and people have this like hunger over there just to prove something, because like obviously if you're like if you have like if you don't have too many options and too many chances, that means that you always need to be on a move. And this is how the people are like basically like thinking over there. But because there is a lack and there is not a structured support for the system, people are just basically at some points break down, stop with the football, or just like so just give up of it, but the thing like obviously like how is coaching, and when the coach create their own system over there. They usually use the experience and instinct, probably like the uh, 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 just the training styles depends on the players over there. Uh, Depends on the players that they have. Like basically, a lot of clubs like that are not Red Star and or Partizan, they have like a real like, structured academies, and I mean structured academies, structured for the Serbian standards. Let's say, let's name it like this. But they have maybe like one or two couple of players who are like very talented. So basically, they're starting to create like uh, the team basically and the training around those players, because the philosophy is at the end those players who are like talented, they're getting ready to be sold out. And usually those players who are like in those smaller clubs are literally like a little bit kind of project of a club. Boom, they're like 16 or 17. They're in a first team. Boom, after that they're getting ready for to be sold out. So that's basically like how does the pathway works like in Serbia. So I don't think that when sometimes when there's when the player is going abroad, like when they're 16 or 17, I don't think that some of the players are going on a right place as well, because like a lot of things now in football are modernized, and a lot of things in football now are like basically digitalized. So I don't think as well that the players, when they move to some place, are like also like getting that knowledge, except of playing football, how to play and how to be in a modern football. Like what I saw as well, like when I was here in one of the academies, like I never saw this like in Serbia, that the players or in the region, that the players who are like 14, 15, already who are like with a club and live in a football campus, they're like, except that they have their like a school and education provided, they're like learning how to use football programs for to analyze the game, how to cut their own clips and analyze each segment. Like I didn't show this. Like that that was very first thing that I saw here. So I think this is basically like how you can say that the system doesn't exist over there, because they're not putting like a lot of new things. I think that there's a lot of things that are just thick, so just to have it, but there is no real knowledge, and except there is no knowledge, there is nothing new, like some improvement, something different, or something authentic. Usually because like this works actually with the mentality over there, but the old school mentality, yeah, the trainings are often like focused on discipline, toughness, mental strength, from the early age. Like I remember when I was in OFK Belgrade, this is the club that is very popular in Serbia, because they're producing usually players for Red Star, Partizan, or internationally. But and it's very popular by that. And the good thing with the clubs as well, like in Serbia, that you have like hands-on talent straight away. Like you never know, like who will come to your session. Like it's not so defined totally. So basically, like you can work, you can be assistant straight away, like with a or work as a coach with a team, and in your team probably, like if you're in Ofaka Belgrade, you will definitely have one or two players who will definitely sign up a professional contract, which is actually like a good thing. Um, Basically, how is it good for a coach? You can actually see how the players are developing, like in these conditions, what this player have, um, what that particular player is making more authentic than the other player, and how he made it. Basically, was it because of technique? Was it because of his like mental strength, like cognitive aspects, or something fifth? But with this approach, like with discipline approach, like in Norfolk Belgrade, I remember I was working with one coach, and he was really strict. With him, it was like a military like atmosphere. Like literally, like we had sessions in the morning and in the evening because of the school times. So the kids were going like some kids in the morning, some kids afternoon, and yeah, the session was starting at 8 a.m. Like literally all the kids 8 a.m. were on the pitch, and it wasn't too many like it was fun obviously, but uh, it was like a really like it was very disciplined, because the players still at that age knew uh, how to act, because they're like part of the academy, and this academy will give them a platform for something maybe bigger, and lots of players use that. Basically, personally, I believe that this. creates like a really strong characters straight away. Like, can you do it or can't you do it? Basically, because I think also like despite like the talent, you need to have like something else, like a work ethic. Like when you're learning this, like you need to have a resilience, willing to go. Like also like you need to have a challenge. Like, are you giving up like pretty soon or not? You know, and nothing is comfy. Nothing is comfy. And also like culturally, like people love tough. People love sharp. And the thing was like always that uh, players, if we take them as a people over there have a fighting spirit. Like basically, it's not they are not basically giving up that easy. So in conclusion, like I would say that again, despite the talent that people over there have, if they can reach, if they can survive that part when they need to sacrifice the most, when they need to invest in their football, uh, to make it achievable, which are like some things I would say in life. Um if they can basically sacrifice that much like to learn, to be open, and to move abroad and to face challenges over there, to not be accepted, to learn a new culture, all of those things, then this player will get mentally strong. And literally, like I believe that they're on a good path. Despite if you have a talented player, if that player is comfy, and if this player is always searching for comfort and not giving nothing for the team, like straight away over there, it's very hard that this person will probably like succeed. Um, yeah, like literally, if everything is like this, if there is no system, and if there is like a lot of like errors, if there is no education, if there is no clear pathway, if there is like always risk of not succeeding and just stuck in the country, giving up from football, there is a big passion. There is always like this people who want to go an extra mile, like despite the lack of resources, they're always willing to go an extra mile. So basically, uh, usually coaches who see that they can coach and that they have a strong leadership, they will usually try to go from Serbia to try to work in an Asian countries, or they will try to go where there's a market for them. So they wouldn't just pick Europe that easy, because there's a lot of like the problems with the visas and paperwork, obviously. But mentality is something like to be disciplined and to be tough, is something I think that what makes footballers, um, what basically what makes it work. A little bit about mentality, yeah. So this is what I was want to talk about. Like literally, like every single player, I would say from Croatian national team or Serbian national team, Bosnian national team. Let's say 90% of them have some struggle in life. That's the like a pretty much common sense that you have some big bad events like in your life, and if not you, your family. And that's basically something that shape, I think, those it shapes character, it shapes person. So basically, those players, like for example, I would say I'll pick Modric. um, so he was someone like that in those times, like in the 90s, and the players who were like kids in 90s, like they didn't have too much except playing sports. So basically, They would just like play football or basketball or handball or volleyball, and it wasn't too many like options for tournaments to travel to compete. It was just everything in one place, and it was very tough with the resources. So the players and the people always need to find alternative way, which was also like when we talk like even deeper, it's just improvising basically. So Luka Modric wasn't selected anywhere, like because obviously because of his size, he was too tiny. But despite the hunger for the game and the passion for it, like I believe that like the other kids who became like our professionals over there, they were just trying to find a way how to do something else that no one else is doing it. So this is how I think Modric was finding his like alien ways of passing, like this really like strange, um, like thinking in advance about the move, assists, um, how to get the ball without a contact, like so many things that basically probably make him like stronger for the challenges that he had like in Spurs and in the Madrid. Obviously, if we know that he was a refugee, uh, and same thing with tennis player Djokovic. Like in the 90s, like he because of the war situation he was improvising like in empty swimming pool, so that's where he was training. So obviously like he was lacking also like funds to invest, so it was nothing like he wasn't basically on the same level and that time as Roger Federer. Like probably Federer had many like, or any other tennis player had many more like resources to invest, but like so people from over there, from Serbia or Bosnia, had to improvise. Same thing with Edin Dzeko. Same thing with Mario Mandzukic. Everybody have similar but different story, which mentally made them tougher, which I think is a key because eventually, like football becomes your job one day, and then you need to have those life skills, which those people learned like through those events. So, and there's a lot of like players like and famous people like from sport like that actually made it like basically that way. Um, yeah, so what do I personally think? What should be changed? There's a lot of things that should be changed, or maybe not changed. Maybe the better word is like what new things should be like available for the coaches over there. So the thing is like obviously because the mentality is how it is, the lifestyle is how it is. So what can we do? We can get more information from the other associations in the world, or from the top, like the countries like Spain, for example, like Netherlands, or maybe we can create our own systems that will work with the football development pathway. Like if you have already player who is like mentally strong, if you have a player that is skillful, that player when he is 15 or 16, when they drop, there is no plan for them. Like why shouldn't like create a pathway for those players, like to educate them, like not to go like for example to the university straight away. Maybe some of the players are not for the universities, but there are like programs like post 16s over here, like where they can get them like the education, like and basically, uh, like I said, we can involve them in like things should be modernized. Like we should teach players like how to use uh, uh, analytics, like how to do the clips, how to do this from themselves as well. Not just like that the one coach is doing this, or that we just have a person to do it. Probably like unfortunately like we don't have too much that stuff we're doing also like proper analytics, or someone to teach, or someone to like Red Star, yes, I'm sure that they have Partizan, yes, but I'm not sure about the other lower division clubs. Like I remember I was like on one CPD and I met one guy and he said, "Oh, I'm doing the analytics for Oxford." Like and Oxford is I think League One, isn't it? So here like in this structure is the third division, but you have like the people who are doing this like in the youth teams, um in almost all clubs, and this is the thing that I think should be over there because football is not just about like the coaching. It is should be similar with this way, should be like implemented, um like this modern stuff with the football culture over there. And also like athletes, we don't have like a proper role models, like so they should just like I said, we are missing leaders, so our athletes like uh our national team players should be leaders like I think um not just on the like outside of the football, their lifestyle, how did they reach to the top or something. We are missing this. Me personally, I'm thinking that we are missing a leaders. Like we don't have a leaders like we had before. And also like clubs. This is something that I also like learned here. Like every club have here community. So basically, like whatever you can do, like or if you want to be involved in a football in some healthy way, you can always join a community, and community will connect you, community will help you out, and at the end of the day, like so you're doing everything like for the football club that you love, that also doesn't exist over there. And also through community, despite like a football, you can all like also be prepared like for life after football. So this is like the basically the things that I will like probably like be focused more on, like more networking, more modernization, and I would say that also like people shouldn't be close-minded that much as well. Like so, I think should be like more like space for doing something new, trying something new. You need to take risks always, and you don't know how something work if you don't try it as well. Also, like new platforms. I don't think that the coaches and the players are using the social media and network and internet platforms very well. Like before, you had like a lot of like all our games were being watched on the TV on a one channel. You know which channel is, and you know what time game starts. But today, kids, I think as well are trying their like sources somewhere else, like on a mobile phone, on TikTok, on PlayStation. There's a millions of channels like a YouTube. Maybe there's some up with the football as well, like Snapchat, whatever. I don't know. And like there are like a football shows as well. Everything is trying to make football fun, and this is also what is missing, like I think in the region as well. So basically, I'll work like I would like to put like more like I will highlight like more those things, and that's basically it. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk, Emil. So if there's any questions or if we can
Yeah,
talk, I'm
we've
really
we've
happy
got
with it.
we've got plenty
So
of questions, which is good.
yeah,
Right, so I'm gonna
all right.
start with
Because
the with
because
the
I can't
with the
see
first
I
one.
can't see this.
That's
All
fine.
right, cool. Yeah,
That's
that's the
fine.
thing.
That's
Yeah.
fine.
All
Right,
right.
first question. Do you think the old school approach help players survive in the professional game when they move abroad? Is the qualities that develop something that other countries, teams, cultures admire?
So the question is basically how old school football, old school coaching is developing football, right?
Uh, Put it that way, yeah. So yeah, basically, what's the first question is, do you think the old approach, the one
Yeah.
you can put the slide with the approach in here, um, help players survive in the professional game when they moved abroad? Because plenty of Serbian players playing abroad, and the question
Yeah.
is if this part of the old school mentality within the session are helping them to survive in the first couple of of days or months or years to play abroad.
Okay, so basically old school. Why did I said it's an old school? You have still a lot of coaches who are like in Serbia who are like 50s, 60s, probably maybe 70s, and they're still following those rules from the from Yugoslavia, like the drills that the like a lot that people that the footballers are lining up, like everything what you are doing here, like in England or anywhere else, like is totally opposite of down there. Like people are like just doing like the line drills. People are like the session is made like from particularly like if we're talking about the session, is made very basic, like the crossings, finishing, everything very basic, made of a repetition of millions of times, but most important thing is that obviously, not obviously, like very likely these coaches who are that old are probably like the coach with a lot of like influence and with a lot of experience. So basically, like those coaches will be like characters, like they'll be like strong, they'll be like very like kind of they'll have this military approach. It will be they'll be strict a lot. They will like be always looking for discipline. They will always teach you like good manners. They'll usually be real gents, you know. So I used to when I was younger, I had this approach from the coaches, and why is this good? Like when they go like abroad, and why they survive, like is because if you from the young age learn a discipline, if you're not too comfy, if they teach you that the football will basically like make your life better in a way of not just like uh, traveling or in the or in the material things, like it will educate you, it will like you, obviously you will get a chance to compete to make your country proud, and because of the being so much like closed, and because of these negative things, you'll get your chance like to get the exposure basically. But first of all, like you need to learn discipline. That when you go somewhere to another culture, or another place, you need to learn their rules. You need to adapt on their way. So basically, if you can adapt on a hard things like that happen, like in Serbia, that I think you can adapt anywhere. So that's will be my answer.
And there is one following question for that. How do you think we can combine this old school values with a newer age, or do you think we should not? Because
I
the one of the listeners, he really likes the approach from appreciate the old values, which I think just my opinion as well, we've missing slightly in the modern
Yeah,
times, and how we can combine this in current times. What do you think about it? Or
this
maybe
is
we shouldn't. Your opinion about it?
I think we should like but what does it mean? Like the old school approach from Serbia, like here somewhere else, or modern
Yeah, yeah.
things that
Just
we need to
overall,
approach from Serbia.
overall in football, do we? What do you think? Do we still had a bit of this approach in terms of we call it
On top
old
level,
school?
I think on a top level there are coaches like who are like still have this like approach, which I think it's really good because like literally like what the football is like if you take it like football is invading game 11 versus 11, like you should know basics, and if you know basics, like those are like, and Cruyff also said as well, like so there are little things like in football that should be mastered, and they are like so obvious, and no one is like uh, putting too much attention on it, like receiving a ball. Like if you master this like that, you can, I don't know, like see a situation while receiving a football or before getting a football, like react with the pass. Like those things are like learning by millions of times kicking a football in a wall, millions of times giving a even a tougher challenge, like millions of like repetition and but also like to achieve this, players need attention, and if you need, and you can get their attention only with discipline, with making a situation not comfy. Like here, like the things, um, I think I think this is what I wanted to say, that I'm working kind of on it, but the thing is like it's hard because players uh, in this new age, like there is a well-being, and I am for that. Like that, the situations like should be like challenged, but in a way, um, like in a reasonable way. Like players here, they don't need to have like a tough situation in the terms that there's something bad happen in their life. So we should try to recreate this to a challenging sessions. But what we can do is that basically we can maybe deeply scout like the players, like who actually they are, where are they coming maybe from, like maybe culturally, like what drives them. Like if you go like when you meet some players, like you can see that some players are from just from the working class family. Yeah, but where is this working class family? Is this working class family from France, Portugal, or they're from, I don't know, Montenegro, or I don't know, Bosnia? It's different. So what drives this person? What drives this person is different. So maybe I think to do this, like we need to understand maybe more players. Like if the players who I think who experience something. They are more like players who experience some toughness in their life. In generally, I think they're more capable to go beyond. Like they're more capable to do this extra mile. You can be disciplined with them more. So that's how I think.
And now the question, just following question to that one again. So we've discussed this approach, we discussed the a bit different approach, and you mentioned a couple of times that you, like you said, at early age, focus is more towards strong characters. So how coaches trying to bridge this technical and tactical gap that may arise when compared with other countries, because you're still producing players, you're still
Yes.
producing
Yeah.
is a hundreds of them, not only in Europe
Yeah.
but all over the world.
Yeah.
And how this is happening, having still this kind of like old style approach, but they still at the very end they still technically good and tactically disciplined. But I think discipline is, but it's already there. It's all about just this tech tac knowledge.
Yeah. So basically, the question is, despite we have like our mentality, like strong mentality and this kind of stuff, how do we feel this tactical and technical gap later on? Is that was the question? That's how I
Yeah,
understand it. How do we
yeah.
feel? Yes. All right. So, and that's a great question. And how will I describe it? Is players I remember in Ofika Belgrade, like Ofika Belgrade was really good platform and for those kind of things. And I'll explain from my experience why. So the club gave you straight away like the hands and approach on talent. It was like, despite that the situation was bad, like vibe was really good. So the atmosphere was really good. It was a lot of talented players. The structure and philosophy was already known. Like about the players who are talented, they're like going to the first team as soon as they um, develop physically when they're like 16, 17, but this technical tactical gap. So basically, if you can see that the player can do some sort of minimum things, that the player is have the game intelligence, if the player in the youth, like up to the, I would say like 12 years, if the player have like a game in intelligence, if the player is showing like a talent, a little bit of talent for defending, for attacking, for if players show any talent, these players are like making the team with the other number of the similar players who are talented a group, and basically everything else is making around them how they can basically how their talents can be exposed, and the other players are basically because you don't have, so you're competing on the academy level, and the other players are just supporting one. So basically, at the start, like even when they're like younger than around 12, like around that age, you are basically making them all ready for market. Like you're selecting them, so there is not so much accent on technical and tactical way. Like obviously you are learning them basics, and when they are ready, and if they're like still on the level, or if they are making a difference, they are going into the first team while they're like 16 or 17. And this is, and basically they are experience like everything, this technical and technical things through a challenge. So if they can perform physically, like the good example is maybe Pavlovic from AC Milan. He passed the Partizan school, and I believe that he had a really good foundation over there in the terms of technical and tactical. But I don't think that he was challenged, and despite his like the hunger and fight that he's showing, I think there were obviously maybe some gaps that he could do better, that it will make his career maybe easier. Now I believe that he will reach even bigger level, as soon as he had like the right environment. So that will be kind of my answer.
So we go up, we've got a couple of other questions.
Yeah, sure.
Right. So let me go up. That was already there. Okay. Do you have any ideas on how things can be changed in terms of football development in Serbia? Uh, and yet we can still engage those people who may not have access to money. Is there something we can do to make money not the most important thing in football?
Absolutely. Like this last question. Well, should we go one question by one, because there's quite a lot. So can we go with the first paragraph, or with the first one?
Yeah,
What was it?
yeah, go on.
Can you
So
repeat it? Yeah, sorry.
yeah, that's absolutely fine.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you have any ideas of how things can be changed and yet we can still engage those people who may not have access to money?
To
In
money.
terms of,
Yes,
yeah, because you discussed that in Serbia, people
yes,
the football
yeah,
is coming become more commercial rather than in the past everyone was playing because it was
yes,
basically afford everyone can afford it, but now it's a
yes.
bit of the challenge.
Yeah, well, basically, first of all, for those ones who don't have access, for like poor, right? If this is how I understand it, is you need to find alternative ways. Like that's it. There is no other, like literally, like if there is no any pathway, you need to create it by yourself. And the first thing is like now when the internet is on, usually how does it go is actually like you think about your problem, you think about your task, you think about what you want to do, and think about where you should start. It can be like a first professional club. You can go and you can just go in there and ask, go with your idea. This is the first step, and through that, I think you can just go up. But how you will reach there is literally like physically doing it. Like I don't know, pay a bus ticket, go knock on the door, ask, and that's it. Like I think because the football is like starting to be such a diverse sport, like with a lot of other things happening around, and anyone I think people should also not give up as well, coaches and players, that easy. They should always send extra mails. They should always do some extra to make them like exposed, and they can also they need to dig more and they need to explore more. It's just how it is. So especially if you are not in the place, in the right environment, so that means that you need to move somewhere where that environment is. Where that will be, it depends, I think, on the person. So some people will just go to London, New York, or I don't know, like the big centers like this, carry on with the education and then like implement this with the club. Or some players, or some players or coaches, they will just pick like the a pathway that they'll work hard. they will like try to do everything what they have in the place where they are, and they will just pick like the place, make a pathway like that. They go to some country that is not so well developed with the football, and they will just try to implement the knowledge that they have into there, like, and then just try to make some success, and from there like move to bigger center, and then eventually like gets like on the place that they want to be. And yeah, this is how I will answer this. So
Yeah, there's one.
what would
It's a
yeah.
good is a fun something really nice about it as well. So, uh, right, do the things like video technique, self-reflection, perhaps take away the cultural identity of Balkan people from strength, pride, desire to win, or can we try and combine these admirable traits? Um, I don't know if you understand the
Well, I
question.
think some yeah video like the video stuff like what would it exactly that mean? Like making something like more making out a showbiz out of football
Yeah, so basically,
or
if you put the new this, so the question from Gaff is
yeah
that
yeah yeah. I think
that
I think I understand
if you
that.
apply all those new
Yeah.
things in Serbian football, you might kill this characteristic which you always have and you always had.
Well, depends what are you using this for. Like usually like I saw that many of my colleagues are like using like started to use LinkedIn, like people from Serbia and then from the region. And usually like I don't think that they're like some of them are using this properly. Like if you you need to use like the media, social media like to expose yourself. But what are you exposing? Like if you like even with the players as well, like what are you exposing? Like the thing is like if there is a coach and if the coach is like puts a picture like on a LinkedIn or in a social media or in a video about like yes I won a cup, you know, how did you win this cup, what did you play, who did you play against, give us details, how did you reach to it, you know. So people like are like exposing more, like I was saying, people are proud, you know, and they're like exposing that stuff instead of trying to link up and network like all right cool, winning this cup I won information like 4-3-3, and obviously the description of the game, and then question for example from the others, for the others would be should I play any other formation because of this, because of that. No, like people are not using this for the good exposure. So basically, I don't think that the video material like in the social media should be a problem. I think you should depends how you use it. Like I think it should be like more used in this way, like to network, to educate, to implement something new and to shape something new. This is how I will like say it because I don't think that that there is anything bad with it. Because also like if you have this Balkan or Eastern Serbian mentality, like this is how you can actually show how you can with discipline, strength, how you can actually like basically you can show your winning formula, like your success, like this. So that's how I will like
Yeah,
answer it.
just to wrap up, I just overall, there's no questions. It will be, I believe, because basically, as I told you, and I'm traveling a lot in terms of different countries and regions and whatever that could be. There's a really good comment from where's one of the people with us. Yeah, it's a great one. So let's say it's all about, football in all over the world is the same. We play in the same game. We play in the same game. It's 11v11, it's two goals and whatever that is. In every single country, you've got different coaching methods in every single country. And um, in some countries, which they believe that they are a bit of under in terms of development, they trying to, for example, copy and paste and use some other knowledge, technology, experience, and whatever that could be. But my belief is that sometimes you need to go into the culture inside to understand what these people need to don't kill their really good abilities and habits. And sometimes, as I think Gav and Shubham just mentioned in the comments, that you've got those good core values which you need to stick on and carry on with doing them, like character, desire, passion, etc., etc. And now you need to find a way to find the gap to fill this with technical, tactical, game-based scenarios to create, as you said, the competitive sessions with a bit of game intelligence, scenarios, and all those little things, but still keep that your characteristic, your culture, your behavior, your habits from the
Yeah.
past. Because the problem is, I can see it in my country when we're trying to copy paste Spanish football, let's say in Poland from like 5 years ago.
Mm.
Now they're trying to copy and paste, I don't know, from Netherlands or Holland or from Germany, from France. It's not gonna work in your country. You're not the same. We're not the same.
Yeah.
And
Something else is maybe uh, you can obviously, how do I think as well, sorry for interrupting, is like you can take the bits, but those bits should be implemented for the players like with the same profile as that one that they can do like a certain things. Um, Sure. For me, like I think culture is really like important because like if you can take like each country's culture, those countries who are like the let's say undeveloped or smaller countries, like especially like Croatia, you need like the country that is like not even 4 millions, like with less than 4 millions, but there is a big community like in diaspora, you know, like so you need to have like a certain way of drive and pride because obviously like if you kill this in a some modern way of some other coaches, some other coach from let's say from Spain or something, I think it wouldn't work. So basically, it was Cannavaro was like in Dinamo Zagreb. He got sucked after like 2 3 months because I believe that he didn't learn like the real character of the people over there of Dinamo Zagreb and stuff, which is like I think I believe as well if you learn it and if a foreign coach learn the the history the culture, someone with a great idea can have a really great success over there. Because I think people go there like people will more accept you over there if you give yourself more for the community.
yeah, so
But I agree with everyone said, yeah.
it's important to be adaptable to the cultures. Of course, the experience
Yeah,
is
it is.
good, but
Yeah.
you need to find the way to apply your knowledge and your experience to what is already in there. So you need to be adaptable. I like as well the we've got the new coach from Balkans in Poland, Željko Sopic.
Ah, Sopic. Yeah, yeah.
He's at Widzew now, and he mentioned that in the first interview that he came here to adapt. He needs to first of all understand the culture of the club, the understand of story, the history of the club, the
Yeah.
fans, everyone who's working with the club, and then he will apply what he knows. But he needs to know exactly how it works, how it look like, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So this adaptability, I think, is crucial on those movements. But again, in terms of football knowledge, we can't just go copy, paste, and apply it. You just need to know the culture, the story, the background. And that's my worry and I think that's Gav's worry as well, that if you put all those new technology in Serbian football, you
Mm,
try to educate coaches, they can change totally the way of coaching and
mm.
approach maybe as well.
And this
And you
is
might
yeah.
lose this a bit of, the character.
This is actually the thing that I was mentioning, try to mention that I'm starting to work on, like not something like that it will like happen, but just a little research or how will Serbian football look like modernized with all these characteristics. You know, like how to coach and how on which way to train like a player who is like a fighter and who is hungry. Like also there should be a big like kind of big spotlight on emotional intelligence, you know, because like usually like the Serbian football players usually like after, especially it can be seen in a national team, like it's a big disappointment after losing a game, or just even with these wins and defeats. So I think it should be like people should also like invest more in emotional, like how to regulate yourself, and also like not just that how we see other opponents and other countries, is also we need to start to see how the other countries are seeing us, you know. So it's a good thing that the people are seeing Serbia as a country that have a players with the character, with the energy, with the drive. But also like it's good to hear like that we need to also like do something different, find this gap, find this way so we can improve. So in any way, you know, like, so hopefully it will work one day.
Right, we're gonna wrap up. Brilliant. I think that will be. I'm gonna probably work on some short clips, which I'm gonna probably post as well on social media because there was a couple of really good moments when I think it will
All
be
right, that's
good
great.
to
Yeah,
post it and put into discussion, open discussion
good.
on the social media. So some really good insights. I really enjoyed that one. I hope you enjoyed as well. Um,
I enjoyed as
so
well. Yeah, thank
so
you.
it's really good. Thanks a lot. It was good to having you. Another good webinar. Follow us if you're still watching it. Give us a like, subscribe our channel. There will be plenty of more webinars coming soon. As I said, now it will be an Italian week, like in Lidl. We're gonna have a coach from Italy, Stefano Greco, who's gonna speak about how he observed the game in the next webinar. And again, pleasure, Milad. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing. I think there was
Yeah,
really, really good things in here.
yeah, thank you very much. I tried my best. Obviously, I can talk about these things like days in a row. Like that's it. But thank you very much once one more time.
Recording. Where is recording? I'm gonna stop it and